Well, hello once again, friends and fans. Raptor here. Welcome back to Space Engineers. So a long time ago, in a galaxy not too far from my hard drive, I started building on well, this is the yellow hive, but over there is the gold beast, or gold beast. I started building on these ships in non-symmetry mode, and eventually figured it out and built ships such as these fighters and everything that are held by the yellow hive here, and over there is the gold beast, and then up there is the hippo. The gold beast, of course, is like just kind of a regular frigate or something with guns and such on it, and the hippo is just loaded with weapons, and the yellow hive here is loaded with other small spacecraft and such. And I was really proud of it as kind of a thing that I built on my own without using symmetry mode. This was really back in the early days of the game, and then used copy to make a multi-purpose vehicle. And even though it's pretty big, handles really well, and is capable of good speed, this of course is not going to be the backbone of any empire. In fact, if you're going to have an empire, you're going to need an empire class craft. So for as big as these ships seem, I mean, they're almost as long as an asteroid and such, they aren't anything compared to the Battlecarrier Iddekolpen. Yeah, that's right. The Spider in Danish, the Empire class Battlecarrier Iddekolpen is the best way I can say it. And of course down there is the copy of the yellow hive. For comparison in size, it is definitely something you do not want to trifle with. So we'll go ahead and take a look at it then. Just in this review mode, you can kind of see a Roman, or rather a kind of a German Gothic cathedral going on in the back towards the engineering bay, and you can see some wings here that are somewhat like kind of strange canards that provide more armor for the underside of some built I guess underside rockets that are going to propel it forward and up in the future. It's under construction, by the way, and a lot of you may have seen this being built in the live stream. Each one of those pedestals there you see will probably be loaded with a Gatling gun, and that flat bar below will be, it's just an area to indicate where more engines are need to go. That vertical armor, by the way, is some sort of a makeshift slat armor that provides armor against rocket strikes and such. It is kind of a lightweight solution to rocket strikes and or vehicle strikes without causing too much damage. So the front of it again is not finished and everything, but I believe it is almost 600 meters long, and will probably go over maybe 700 when it's done. It is designed to hold aircraft or spacecraft, if you will, because that's kind of what a battle carrier is going to do. But again, it also does battle on its own, and really it would kind of be senseless to design a ship that wasn't supposed to carry other ships. However, that is not its main function. At the top there you can see the command area for it, and in the middle you have a very unique area with a bridge and such, and different power canards that connect everything together. You can see somewhat like armored power conduits that go through the entire structure that also double as armor, and you can see some additional guns set up there. This whole thing will be loaded with guns. Well, before it's complete, it'll probably weigh more than the 54 million kilograms that it weighs currently. It'll probably weigh somewhere around 60. A lot more to add. She's slow moving, as the number of engines we started with needs to be increased. You can see some side engines on there to move it both vertically and horizontally. Underneath we'll show off some more engines too that help to do that. In the rear, a lot of defenses, and of course this is kind of where I start traditionally with the Gold Beast. I started in the back with the engines and liked it and built towards the front, and that's exactly what I did here, starting with the engine compartment and then building the defenses. You can see where I somewhat started on the conduits there that somewhat provide power to these. I thought it was more unique to build it this way than just putting them onto the ship. And of course, yeah, sure, someone can shoot at them and take them off easily, but really, what are they going to do? Are they going to target one gun by slicing it off while the other 15 are targeting, or are they going to go for the engines? It gives many targets to fire at. You can see some downward engines that will push the ship downward, and there are some more over here towards this section here with this really unique looking bridge, something I'm very proud of. A lot of this is probably my least favorite part of the ship, this kind of this hump here, but it does stay with the same style, and there's tons of guns and everything, and inside there is the command port for the entire ship. Of course, this area may not be so armored, but if some other materials come available in the future, we'll replace this light armor with some more heavier armor. That would be exactly what we exactly where we would want to put it. Communications on top, you can see there is where the Battlecarrier beacon is for it, to let you know exactly what it is and where it's going. And there's somewhat of an observation bay here. I will show you the interior of the ship, but no better way to actually check out the interior of a ship than testing out its armor. So let's go back over to the Yellow Hive and hop into one of our newer ships. I have names picked out for all these smaller fighters in Danish, but I just haven't yet assigned them. By the way, I've also built a small container or medium-sized container mover that I call the Camel, but some of these other ones still yet need to be named. Let's take our new boy over there then. Show this thing off. One of the first things I built in symmetry mode when I finally figured it out. You can see there's plenty, more than plenty of forward-firing Gatling guns on that one, not to mention 2, 4, 6 rocket pods on the bottom and top total, and some really unique engines here that kind of poke out that make me want to do the same with the Etterkolpen over there. Maybe not necessarily have them come out, but where you did see those notches, there's going to be another large wing that comes out. So I've been experimenting where to put the engine, but this is mostly about aesthetics, and it actually has some utility to it. So let's check out that utility now by flying over there. We're going to switch to our missile now and just make our way on over to the Etterkolpen, and of course I'm probably saying that wrong. I know it's Etterkolpen or whatever, but you can correct me down below. Go for it. Go for it, Danes. I dare you. So inertia dampeners are on now. We'll come to a stop, and the frontal armor towards the front of the ship is not yet as solid as the armor just located under the words Etterkolpen and where the main command module is. So what we'll do is I'm going to go ahead and propel myself towards the front of the ship by just scooting along via the side, and then we're just going to go back the other direction, and I'm going to turn the inertia dampeners off and just fire away. So anyway, if you want to download this world, it's available down below by going to the workshop down there. This takes a very long time to load. It's not optimized yet because I've basically been experimenting in the same world, so I'll copy that over and get it all done, and it should be good. But this is definitely something I'm proud of, and if you want to watch the live stream of this continuously being built, which I'm sure will go on for quite a long time since there's no interior, check us out on twitch.tv/RatPack. So let's go ahead and turn inertia dampeners off, and let's fire away. Alright, so there you see some, wow. Well, first you see a lot of lag, but what you do see is the reactive armor at work. There are some hull breaches already, and that's going to be a double hull. You actually see that there's not a whole lot of hull breach for as much damage as these missiles can do. You see the structural integrity is actually staying in pretty well, so this world does take a lot to keep running, so we're just going to keep firing. So there'll be a little bit of lag if you attack this ship on your own. Just be aware of that. Alright, so I'm aware of the that's where I was firing last multiple times, is where the reactors are, so I'll work on stabilizing that in the future, or making that more strong. That's one of the most important things in Space Engineers, by the way, is to blow up your shiz, dog, because there's no better way to test out your armor and such by actually blowing it up. And as you can see, we've had a catastrophic reactor room failure, I suppose. Again, this is going to be more armored in the future, but you can see the engineering bay towards the rear here is going to absolutely be massive. It's going to be loaded with gyros. There's some engines there that face towards the top to propel her down. You can see a pretty big hole here just in that basic armor. So again, making it more thick would be a good move. But then again, would this ship really be able to get that close with all these missile systems and machine guns on the way? It would have to be overwhelmed in order for that to be really effective. You can see some floating pieces there. Really, if this thing gets damaged, it's going to be an absolute nightmare to reconnect everything. But I did not show the underside. There you have a communications array and a lot of smaller engines, as well as these fins that kind of come down to protect these engines here to propel it up. There'll be much more of those in the future. You can actually see that there's a fin in the middle that's somewhat aimed at defending those additional ones, and that's kind of why that wing comes down like that. But anyway, let's hop over and check out the damage on the other side, and we'll get behind the wheel of this beast, and then we'll do a suicide run as well. Yeah, we'll get the hippo out and ram into her and see exactly what happens, or at least a recreation of what happened last time. So again, if you're enjoying this, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and also cheer me on as I build off with Brad Fusion as well, as we've kind of teamed up, and we have a lot of fun in this game. So check his channel out up there in the links up above to the right if you're on the main page. Check him out, Brad Fusion. You should know him. He's famous. So anyway, there's a kind of an attempt for an interior hull. Everything's not done, but you can see you're definitely going to want more than one hull. You know, building multiple hulls are definitely going to benefit you. And if you make your first one the thickest and the second or third one's a little more thin, it's hard to strike in the same place. I mean, imagine how fast you'd have to be moving just to stay away from the weapons of this ship. And again, you can kind of see real big failures there on rockets. But rockets may be in the future very, very difficult to obtain. It may be, you know, as you saw there, there were 6 rocket pods times 4, so you figure out how many missiles you can fire. Actually, you'd probably only be able to fire 4 times, because each click would be a missile launch, and unfortunately you would run out and barely be able to damage the ship much before it basically munched you. So anyway, a lot of weapons to be added in the future and everything. Let's go ahead and hit the Ederkolben. Where do you think? Let's fly the Hippo right down the mouth of it before construction's completed. And again, if you want to check this world out, check it out in my workshop, and follow me on that workshop as well. Subscribe to this world Raptoria Quadrant by going to my workshop. Look for ICBM Raptor 1 on Steam, and just check me out there through that. And that's how you can get into this awesome world and test out all the little vehicles I've been working on. Now, in the future, the Ederkolben may not be here. I may move it to another world, just to kind of reduce lag, but as the game's more optimized, I'm sure we'll be able to have everything in the same map. So, as I told you before, the Hippo, yeah, hippos are very dangerous. You should know that. And this particular Hippo is absolutely loaded to the teeth with weapons. And anyway, the doors, by the way, are weird. There's been an update recently, and even though you can open the doors, it's impossible to get through. I think they shrunk the doors. I don't know. I'm too fat. Oh my god, it actually worked. Okay, they may have updated that. Alright. So we'll climb up to the top of the Hippo here, and we'll drive her right into the Ederkolben and see what kind of damage we can cause. And then I'll continue on building. When I build in the When I build in the future, I will probably be building on twitch.tv/RapPack, as I said. But also, I will add some small things as I have time, you know, engines and such. In fact, it seems like it takes a lot more time to actually... Well, it actually takes equal amount of time to build a square and add armor to it and fill the interior as it does just for me to pick out where I want to build an engine and add all the cool armor to it. Me and Brad Fusion both believe in not hiding your engines and showing it off and leaving them quite armored. As you can see, each one of my engines on the Hippo here is quite armored. I'm actually surprised that the Hippo hasn't exploded from these crazy turns I'm doing. But anyway, the Ederkolben here is going to go boom in just a moment or two as we fly. Now, I hope this thing fits without too much problem. I did, by the way, during the live stream, successfully fit like 3 of these, or 1 of these things in the unfinished section, but I think with all the total space that hasn't yet been filled in interior-wise that's not armored, you could probably fit 3 of these things. So we're going to come to a full stop here, and we're going to put the Hippo on a collision course, at least to the best of my abilities. It is very difficult to steer these ships if you don't have a line of sight on it. We have to just steer with our external sensors. So hopefully that's going to be good. I think we should be spot on now. I'll just guide it in, and I'll blow up with it. But anyway, let's see what happens. Oh, we hit the bottom. Our own ship exploded. Quite. I thought actually we would explode the entire way, but I guess we didn't. I'm actually surprised by that. So anyway, I was going to try to go into the middle, but I'm sure we would have hit something at some point. It's not too easy to fly these big beasts. But yeah, look at that. So a bunch of warheads just tore through that armor. So if somebody builds like a deep space torpedo, and that's literally the size of one of these ships, and it hits the Ederkolben, it's good night, Ederkolben. But yeah. So anyway, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Look at the damage. It looks like several decks have been breached. There may be some decks built under there in the future. But anyway, if I would have crashed into here, we probably would have blew up right around here anyway. And right under the main control port. So I guess that's it for the Ederkolben, and that's it for me, as I just smashed my face into a sharp metal edge. But anyway, so you can see that even though there was a catastrophic explosion Ederkolpen probably didn't even notice anything. So that's it for now. By the way, Ederkolpen named after our friend Spider, who got me and Brad Fusion in touch, and it's really happy to have you as a friend, my friend. So anyway, until next time, friends and fans, check out his channel and also subscribe to this one. And if you're new from Brad Fusion's channel, thanks for joining me. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for being a friend. And remember, in space, no one can hear you. Bye.